Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so behavioral round is an important part of any data science interview where the interviewer asks you a bunch of behavioral questions to assess your communication skills, fit for the role, experiences and learnings from the past, or even to screen you in or out of the interview. As you know, data science is not just knowing the complex technicalities and applying advanced models. Equally important is the skill to effectively communicate your insights and results with the stakeholders as well, because ultimately they take decisions based on that, right? The behavioral questions are the set of tools through which an interviewer tests your soft skill part, right? Yet, it is often the most neglected part of data science interview preparation. In this video, I am going to share the top questions asked in behavioral rounds of data science interviews and share my detailed answer as well. These answers have helped me clear behavioral rounds of every interview process that I have been a part of, including companies like Amazon, BCG Gamma, Goldman Sachs, Expedia, etc. This is part 1 of this series with part 2 coming out within a couple of days. Okay, so let's go through the list of the most common questions which are asked and might be asked to you in the behavioral rounds of data science interviews. Okay, so the questions that we are going to discuss are like, tell me about yourself, what are your current responsibilities, or it can be also asked how your current job will help you in this role. Why are you looking to transition, or what do you dislike about your current job? Tell me about a time you failed. Why did you shift from mechanical to data science? Or basically for people who are going into data science from any other branch, they did their undergrad or masters in any other branch and then they are moving to transition. So how can you answer those questions? What are your career goals, or where do you see yourself in 5 years? What can you bring to the table, or why should we hire you? How do you handle difficult situations, or how do you handle stress? Tell me about a time where you had to use teamwork to get a project done. Or it can be also asked, tell me about a time you were a leader in a group setting. What kind of crazy are you, or basically what is your biggest weakness? How do you define success of a project? How do you influence and manage change? Tell me about a time when you had to implement last minute change and be successful. How do you handle conflict in a team? What will you do if you are unable to meet a deadline? How do you get non responsive coworkers to respond? What do you consider your greatest achievement, right? Apart from this, I have also listed down some bonus questions and we will be discussing it as well. Like, for example, why do you want to be a data science consultant, right? So basically when companies, I ask questions like why Amazon, why BCG, why Expedia, things like that, right? Why this company, and I will be sharing like the answers that I gave to BCG and Amazon Whole Foods, and in both these interviews I was passed to the next round as well. Finally, why did you choose our company over our competitors? For example, BCG Gamma asked me like why BCG over other consultancies like McKinsey, etc., right? In part 1, we are going to discuss the first 10 questions in detail, with the remaining questions coming in part 2 of this series, which is going to be out just in a couple of days. So if you are watching this video after 2 days of release, find the link of the part 2 in the description. Okay, so let's move forward, right? So the first question, usually your interview starts with something like introduce yourself or tell me about yourself, right? So this is the answer that I give them. Let's go through the answer in detail and then we will be analyzing it, right? So I usually start with saying that I graduated from Columbia University last year with a master's in data science, and I currently work full time as a senior data scientist in the card analytics team at my present company. I have experience of multiple internships and projects ranging from domains like real estate, aviation, healthcare, and technology as a data scientist. I believe all these experiences have helped me to develop into an individual with good analytical mindset who can take complex projects from conceptual phase to completion and even express the key takeaways and results to both technical and non-technical audience. And attention to detail, consistency, positive attitude, and flexibility are some of the core values that I always abide by. Right. So if you see, this is very crisp, concise, and it gives a holistic review of like what I did, where I did my master's from, what I do currently, what my experiences are, how my mindset is, and what are some of the adjectives that I use to define myself, right? So again, let's analyze this, right? So I usually start this by this is because, like, if you read the job description of almost any company, they say that they need a master's degree with 2 years of work experience, bachelor's degree with 4 years of work experience, or for 2 years of relevant work experience, or something like that, right? So this line, like, basically tries to cater to that, right? So I'm telling the person that, okay, I have completed my master's degree and currently I am working in this team, and this is my current role, so it answers that. Then, like, well, I like to follow up with what my experiences have. Even if you are a new grad or a person who has been in the industry for several years, you can modify this line. So if you are a new grad, this line fits perfectly well, and if you are a person who has been in the industry for many years, you can write, okay, I have experience of multiple internships, full-time jobs, projects ranging from various domains that you have worked in, right? Because this gives an idea that, okay, this person has knowledge about different domains. Let's say you are applying to a role which requires domain expertise, so you can say, I have 5 years of work experience working in the aviation sector as a data scientist, or something like that. You can modify it. Then I also try to make sure that the person right away knows that, okay, I am a person who not only works on specific aspects of a bigger project, but I can also take a project right from the beginning phase to the end. Because if you think, to begin a project is one of the most difficult thing, because you have to set directions, you have to identify OKRs, what matrices you are going to use, what is the direction going to be, right? So things like that. So I make them know that, okay, I have experience in that, because it is a huge plus. Not a lot of people have this, even if they are working in big companies. And also, data science is not only about knowing technical aspects, right? As I mentioned in the introduction, it is also communicating your insights, because it doesn't matter how good your technical skills are if you are not able to convey the insights to people who are in the senior leadership, both technical as well as non-technical audience, right? So I make sure that they know about this. And these are some of the adjectives that I try to end my answer is, because it is basically kind of controlling the interview. Because either the person's, most of the times what I have experienced is that the next question is either from this thing, like, okay, give me an example where you took a project from its conceptual phase to completion, or, okay, what is the time that you had to be positive attitude, or what you were flexible, or things like that. You see, like, this is how you drive your interview. Okay, so let's move to question 2. What are your current responsibilities, or how your current job will help you in this role? Okay, so I answer like, my current responsibilities include develop and implement data-driven analytical solutions using combination of, but not limited to, my technical skills in Python and SQL, data mining, statistical analysis, and hands-on research. Oftentimes, this leads to translating complex analytical results into concise, actionable insights for tech as well as non-tech audience. And at this point, I always give an example of what I am currently working on, right? So I say, currently I am working on studying the change in customer behavior. So not a lot of detail, because the question is like, what are your current responsibilities, right? Or how your current job will help you in this role. So they are not asking what you are currently working on or something like that. So I just, give a very short intro, brief intro about, I am working on this, and these are the matrices I'm using to measure it, right? If they want, they can ask the next question, and then again, like, it is just like controlling the interviewer, like, okay, making them ask you, the next question. Also, apart from them, I also let them know that even though my current responsibilities mainly is working on these stuff, But if even if ad hoc request arrives, so perform ad hoc requests, provide support to marketing analytics team, and collaborate with other departments for strategic use of data. You see, that is what most people look for in a data scientist or a data analyst, that the person is not only able to do the task that the person is deliberated to, but also if other requests come, right, or the other department or a department within your department or a team within your department needs some help, right, you are able to help them as well, be collaborative in nature, use data, find opportunities, etc., etc. So you see, make them aware about these things, because if you just by the answers that I have provided for these first two questions, you might be able to get that theme, right? So you in every answer that you give to an interviewer, try to demonstrate some or the other aspect of your data science background or skill, right, and use examples to do that. Don't just say like I am a analytical person, or my current responsibilities include doing this. Give an example, let them know that yes, what you are saying, you are actually doing it as well, right? So that is very important. Okay, let's move forward. Question 3: why are you looking to transition, or what do you dislike about your current job? Now, this question is almost a certain if you are working in a current role and trying to switch jobs. So to keep in mind that even though you are looking to transition from your current job, don't say negative things about wherever you are. Don't say that okay, I'm not getting paid enough, or I have to work on weekends or something like that. Always try to be positive and give, even if you want to give criticism, give constructive criticism, right? So in such questions, tell about your progress is being hindered, you want to challenge yourself or something like that, that you are concerned about your growth and you are looking to transition so that you can enhance your growth, learn more, be in a challenging position, and own your decisions, right? So the answer that I give is, even though I have learned a lot in my current role, because you should not disregard like what you have been doing over the past 1 year. If you disregard that, then the person can be okay, so this person, wherever he or she goes, he works for there, and then whenever the person is interviewing, they just disregard. So what is the use of working at a place for a year? So if you are disregarding that entire thing, that entire 1 year period, you didn't learn anything, right? So that is going to be the image in the person's mind. Don't do that. So even though I have learned a lot in my current role, I believe I have started to develop that comfort zone here. I'm a person who thinks better on my toes, and I love constantly challenging myself. I want to experience the rapid changing environment of projects. Okay, so if you see this paragraph, right? So one way of saying this is, okay, my current role does not provide me a rapidly changing environment. It does not really allows me to own the solutions, etc., etc. The other way, or a better way of saying the same thing, is I want to experience the rapid changing environment of projects where I have to constantly adjust my priorities, develop analytical solutions, really own them. And I believe reading the job description helped me understand that this role is a perfect opportunity to learn these important skills. The interviewer will get an idea, okay, you are not getting these kind of things in your current role, and this is what you require at the current moment, and that is why you are looking to transition, right? Very important. Okay, moving forward, tell me about a time you failed. These questions are almost again certain in any data science interview. So since if you see, like whenever people ask you or interviewer ask you, tell me about a time, right? So it is the best way to answer such type of questions is using the star format, right? Situation, task, action, and result, right? So if you see, like I go about, okay, so, and don't say situation or task or action or something like that, right? So you just follow that hierarchy, right? That structure. So in one of the courses at Columbia, a project was assigned and the topic was shared with the team. our team decided to meet next day, I thought of a few metrics which might be useful in this project, right? I consider it my failure because, being a person who loves data, I should have gathered preliminary data to emphasize my points. I was not able to convince my team members of those metrics of to those metrics to approach the problem, right? So what I did was I worked on my mistake and prepared a small PowerPoint presentation for our next meeting, proposed why I think these metrics make sense, and backed it up with the data. And ultimately, my idea was accepted and became the backbone of the entire project. So you see, I'm giving them a scenario, a situation that, okay, this was the pretext. This is why I consider this as a failure. Now, some people might not even consider it as a failure, right? So you were not able to, convince your team members in the first meeting. So what? But I'm saying this because, since this is a data science position that I'm applying to, I'm telling that, okay, even if I say I am a person who loves data, I didn't do or didn't act as a person who loves data, and that is a failure in my opinion. And I was not able to emphasize or convince my team members. So you see, this is showing the interviewer that, yeah, this person is enthusiastic about what he or she thinks. He wants to make effort, to be heard in the team, so that people take him seriously. He wants to put and emphasize things that he is trying to think of, right? So that is very important, right? Because a lot of times what will happen is that you are going to talk to people in your team or maybe stakeholders, and you are going to pitch in your ideas, and they will simply say, no, I don't think so, this is a good idea. So you shouldn't say, oh, okay, then let's go ahead with whatever you are saying. No, if you believe in something that yes, what you are thinking is right, back up with ideas. Tell them why you think it is a good idea, why make them, present them with charts, data. Any sensible person, if the person sees that yes, there is some potential in whatever the other person is saying, he or she is bound to consider it, right? At least give it a go for once, right? Do that. Okay, so let's move forward. Why did you shift from mechanical to data science, right? So I did my undergrad in mechanical engineering, and now currently I'm doing data science. So this question, like, can we change to why did you shift from software engineering to data science, etc., like, does not matter. You need to change it a bit, but make sure like you include all these aspects that I'm demonstrating here. So even though while pursuing my degree in mechanical engineering I learned a lot, but I started to feel that perhaps it's not just about engineering high-end solutions, but one should also keep in mind the business aspects of a problem, right? This idea even got bolstered several times, especially during my summer internships in 2017 and 2018. So why have I included this line here, right? So basically you are trying to demonstrate that it didn't happen overnight, that one day you woke up and you are like, oh, let's leave mechanical and let's start data science. No, you tell them that it was a process. There was an idea that came in your mind, then it was bolstered, it was strengthened by some of the experiences that you had, and then based on that you found out that, okay, what else can I do? So then data science, I believe, encompasses the engineering and management aspects of problems beautifully. You not only engineer solutions, but also everything you do is to help your business, and your solutions should be explainable to the stakeholders, right? So I was looking for something, it got bolstered. Like I tried to find out example, like how a data person thinks, right? There was a problem, he or she tries to think, okay, like, is this really a problem, right? It gets bolstered, and then trying to find the solution. And why the solution is good solution? Because of certain reasons, right? So again, if you see, again, that is what I'm constantly saying. Okay, that is how you answer questions. Let them know in every answer that yes, you have a structure in mind, you know what it means to be a data scientist. not only knowing, linear regression, deep learning, neural networks, etc., but how a data scientist thinks, right? And it should be reflected in every answer. Give them that structure, give them that, that mindset that yes, you are thinking as a data scientist right from the beginning, right? Moving forward, what are your career goals, or where do you see yourself in 5 years? Again, a very common question that people ask in the interviews. So, mostly what people do is like, they say the entire 5 years thing or 5 year plan in one go. Just to make a structure, 5 years is a long time, right? So if you can divide it into 2-3 years bucket or 1 year bucket, like that's fine as well. So what I do was I try to at least divide the 5 years into like two halves, right? So first 2.5 years or 3 years, next 2.5 or 3 years, like what I'm planning to do. So in the next 2-3 years, I see myself becoming a true expert and master at my role at like whatever company you are interviewing for, like the job role, right? Now this is important. Like when they ask you what are your career goals, so just by saying what you think, if you include the company or the job role that you are interviewing for, then the interviewer will think, okay, so this company with the person is interviewing with, it is in his or her long term goal, right? So he or she wants to grow with this company, it is a goal of this person, and it seems like working in this role will be helpful for this person to achieve that goal, right? So the person will see that, okay, so this role the interviewee sees as an integral part of his or her goals in the next 5 years, right? So you tell them that yes, you are interested, you are not only looking at short term, right? Okay, I join this, I get another salary hike from another company, I will be leaving in 6 months. No, you tell them that yes, you see a future with this company, right? So that is very important in such kind of role, in such kind of questions. I plan to immerse myself in the position, understand improvement areas, know the business in and out, and look for opportunities to make my department as lean and efficient as possible. So, you see, mentioning all this tells the person that yes, this person has thought about it, has given a good amount of thought, like what responsibilities or duties he or she is willing to perform in this position even before joining this position, right? So this person is really interested to learn the business, and learning a business is a long process. It takes a year or two to actually understand what this entire company or organization does. This again gives the person to a sense that okay, this person is going to stay long time, because it is very costly to hire new people. Recruiters or hiring managers don't want to get people who are just going to leave this company for in next 6 months, 8 months, because they will have to repeat the entire process again and again, right? So make them look and see that okay, you are there to stay. Then, for the next couple of years, I want to extend my expertise and offer help to other departments using all my prior knowledge and experience. So, this says that you are not only concerned with your department you are working with, then you also want to, as a whole, you want to do good for the company that you are interviewing with. Very important. Moving ahead, what can you bring to the table, or why should we hire you? Again, very classic question people ask. Now, in this, what I usually do is I provide them with certain adjectives or my qualities that I see and how this is going to help the company or the team that I'm interviewing for, right? For example, I say, okay, flexibility. So the reasons why you should hire me is like I am flexible, or flexibility, I can reset priorities and have experience of, and I do have experience of managing main projects along with ad hoc requests. It will help the team to have wider breadth to cover each sprint. So you are telling the person that yes, you know how big companies functions. They go sprint by sprint, take some task, try to fulfill it in each of the sprint, right? So you are demonstrating that knowledge. You say that, I say that, okay, I'm dependable, I get my task done on time, oftentimes earlier, the team will not face any backlog because of me, and I am even happy to help my team, right? I am a good listener. I patiently listen and then express my views with the data to support. This will help the team to bounce ideas off of me and encourage collaboration. Multiple domain experience. I have transferable skills and experience working with senior leadership. I'm always eager to learn and improve my skills. I have multiple awards which are a testament that I can do my task effectively, efficiently, and produce great results. So again, you see, you are again demonstrating, or I'm again demonstrating the that structure of data science mindset, right? That okay, I'm not only flexible, you have to be flexible for a data scientist, because oftentimes you try experiments and they fail. So you have to be dependable, you have to be flexible, you have to, listen all other ideas before speaking, right? You should encourage collaboration, because data science is one of the most collaborative job that you will ever get, right? You have to work in teams, you have to collaborate. Having multiple domain experience, transferable skills, working with senior leadership are some of the like very rare qualities not a lot of people have. A lot of people know the machine learning algorithms, statistics, etc., etc., but these skills are not that easy to find in data science domain. And if you are able to demonstrate that yes, you already have a very upper hand compared to rest of the competition, right? Make sure prepare your answer in such way. Moving forward, how do you handle difficult situations, or how do you handle stress, right? So again, like, this is kind of give me tell me a time when you had to handle stress or something like that. So again, star based approach. So I make sure that I start off, to actually tell them that what led to this difficult situation or what led to that stress, right? So a team member left and he was working on a project whose deadline was in 3 weeks. The project was deliberated to me. What made it even more difficult was the fact that it was very important for the stakeholder, as it was related to analyzing the value a department was able to add to the organization. This led to the frustrating environment initially, and at that moment I was working on 2 other projects as well, right? So basically I'm trying to make them see that yes, it indeed was a difficult problem where any reasonable person might come under stress, right? Now you don't have to demonstrate that you are a superhuman, that who even in very difficult situations cannot come under stress, right? So you can come under stress, and this was the situation. And obviously you are not sitting idle, right? Their project was deliberated to you, but you might be working on something else then. But you have to collaborate and have to work on the deliberated project as well. So I thought my task was to complete the deliberated project and try to make sure that the relationship with the stakeholder does not deteriorate, right? Because if you see, this led to a frustrating environment, because it is a very important project, right? Analyzing the value of a department, right? It is very important. So what I did was, in such kind of questions, always tell them that what you actually did. Like in these questions, I see a lot of people, a lot of my friends, they what they do is they just they, instead of giving an example, they just read about 2 or 3 things what to do, and they just blabber about itself. I think a better way of answering such questions is to give an example from your real life, that okay, this was the problem, this was the task, and this is what I actually did, right? So since I was already working on 2 projects from some time, I made good progress. So I knew I could focus on the deliberated task more and still not lag on those projects. Very, very important thing, right? So you are working on some projects, they might also have deadlines. They even stakeholders from those projects might be expecting results, right? So just because someone else left the team and this project was given to you does not mean you can sideline the project that you are working on. So make sure that the person remembers, right? So gets to know about this, that yes, since like this person is so punctual that that he or she works on the projects and does not leave the task till the end, like till the end of time, right? So I went through all the work done by the ex-employee, made notes, and scheduled a meeting with the stakeholder to explain my understanding, asked if I am missing something, and told him what my plan was and asked for their suggestions. Again, very step-by-step process, right? So you obviously, to do a project you need to understand it, make notes. Obviously, since it was a time crunch, right? So since it is a time crunch, you need to make sure that this whatever the stakeholder is asking to do, you deliver that, understand it, see if you are missing something, missing important assumptions, or missing something that is in scope or out of scope, things like that, and ask their suggestions. I also came up with a few new ideas which could be implemented with little effort but tremendously enhance the end result. Now, there are already a time crunch. So if you are saying that you come up with few new ideas to be implemented, then let them know that yes, it didn't require working in for another 1 month or something like that, because then it is highly unrealistic that your stakeholder will allow to do it, right? So that is why implemented with very little effort, but it enhanced the result tremendously. So this says that in such situations when projects are given to you, you don't just look to do it anyway, and it's like, okay, like that, let's just forget about it, let's do it whatever I can. Anyway, no one's going to say anything to me because it was not I was not the person who was working on it from the beginning, or things like that. No, even if you are under stress, even if the situation gets difficult, even if you are deliberated on any other task, you demonstrate that yes, I want this project to be successful, I want to answer all the stakeholders questions, right? So the project was completed on time, the other projects were still on course, and there was a feeling of collective joy and success, right? So you not only completed the project, you also like whatever your entire task was, to complete the project and make sure your relationship does not deteriorate, right? So there was a collective feeling of joy and success among both the teams, right? So it's very important. Tell me about a time where you had to use teamwork to get a project done, or tell me about a time you were a leader in a group setting, right? Now, basically, they are trying to see, like, are you a leadership material, right? So if they want to promote you in next 2 years, will you be able to be a good leader, or have you done, or have you any experience in the past as a leader? So what does a leader do in a certain situation? You need to demonstrate that, right? So for example, what I give an example from my Columbia coursework, that in a team of 8 people, 2-year-long projects were assigned and each member was to lead for 1 month. So it's in the starting, I was the leader, and obviously when you are just assigned a project, your basic task is to formulate a direction of the project. So again, what I did as a leader, I divided the 8 members into 2 groups. Then the team deliberated to come up with the different phases of a project, because a year-long project needs to be done in different phases, right? The agreeable part which we planned to cover in month 1, that was further divided into 2 smaller tasks, and 2 members were assigned per task. So basically I make people accountable, that okay, you are working on this part, I am going to ask you what progress did you made, are you facing any problems, etc. Bring it to me. I am a leader, I should try to solve that, right? I formed OKRs, the objectives and key results, scheduled checkpoints, and kept the stakeholder apprised, right? So you see, like, this is what leaders do. Obviously, these are not all the things that leaders do, but you are just trying to demonstrate that, okay, when you were made a leader, these are the things that you did, and these are the things that kept, like, came into your mind. So it is showing that, okay, this person is a leadership material. He or she is able to think, or break down that entire big convoluted project into actionable tasks, right? So as a result, the project was completed like what we planned. Great structure for the next leader and ahead in the presentation compared to other teams. Again, very important, great structure for the next leader. So you are a leader who not only did what they were assigned or was supposed to, but also left a good structure for your successive leader, right? So that is very important, that even if you leave a place, you make the environment or the structure in such a way that the person who to follow you is not going to have a hard time figuring it out. Question 10. What kind of crazy are you? What is your biggest weakness? Okay, so to answer this kind of questions, like what I think is, like, because of one strength that you have, that leads to a certain weakness, and you should mention that. Like, this is what I have found to be very useful, that one of my strengths, like whenever people ask like what is one of your strengths, so I say that I am attentive to detail. So based on that, there is a problem, right? So if you are too attentive to a detail, you will take a lot of time as compared to people who are not that attentive to detail. So I'm a person who is very attentive to detail, and because of that, sometimes I overstretch and overthink certain points, and the time gets by me. Makes perfectly sense, and it is not looking like, you are just trying to demonstrate one of your strength as your weakness, right? You are saying that, yeah, there is a strength of you which is also leading to a weakness of you, but you are saying that yes, I am working on it to find the correct curiosity versus overstretch balance. So even though you are saying that I know that this is a weakness, but I don't consider it a fully a weakness, because I am a curious person. So it is okay for me that I am, that time gets by and I overstretch and overthink. But yes, in certain situations, I should be more careful, and I am trying to find out that correct sweet spot between curiosity and overstretching, right? So these are the way of answering such questions. So again, this was part one. It is to be continued, and then in the next part we will be answering all the remaining questions. I hope this video was useful. Let me know what other questions have been asked to you, and I will try to include it in the maybe part 3 of the series, etc. And I hope this video was useful to you, and if it was, let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you soon in the part 2 of this series.